Hey, Jerrell.
I love you, boo. I love you
too,
so
boo.
much.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Queen.
Doing,
What's going on?
Hey, Michael Jackson over there.
she got that thick beard going this week.
and they got all the light. It's just shining right through. She's not even part of the melanin crew anymore.
This is just the window. Literally, this is just how bright it is right now. I'm like, oh.
Look at her. Look at that soft flex she just did on us.
Right. She's like, yeah, it's just the window. Just natural beauty here. It's just the window,
just the effervescence of when you're living your best life. Nothing special.
That's too funny. Love it.
Hey, community. Here's what's brewing today.
Thank you for the birthday love.
Ask your aunties, friends, hey, how many of us have them? And say his name, Daunte Wright. So get your cups ready for Minoritea Report. Well, hey, welcome to Minoritea Report. It's AunTea Jerrell.
It's AunTea Jerrell.
And it's AunTea Jerrell too.
Oh, how you ladies doing?
Jerrell, or Jerrell.
It's like whatever you want to call us today, I guess.
But shout out for Todrick for getting it right though. He said Jerrell. I was like, yes! Come on. And I think Tamar got it right too.
Tamar did get it right.
Yep, Tamar got it.
She did. Yeah.
Tamar got her days right.
But
some of these other ones, I was like, come on, y'all black. Y'all know better.
And just for the community, so y'all know, and I mean, obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, my hope is that you're also following us on IG. If not, it's at Minoritea, TEAReport.com. But yeah, so we, in anticipation of our 2-year anniversary, we here
officially today too. That we record
24 months. 113 episodes.
This is episode 114, but remember we split Monique Hart into 2, so technically 115 episodes. Yeah. And then the ones that they didn't hear.
Right. In the vault. Right. Yeah. But in anticipation for that, we got a bunch of celebrities to really just shout us out and just give us some well wishes. And so it was interesting with the name choices that they chose. But I want to shout them out real quick. Just Todrick Hall, Shangela, Anthony Anderson, Jasmine Lemasters, Carson Kressley, Kalen Allen, Ryan Jamaal Swain from Pose, and of course Tamar Braxton, who, by the way, out of all of them, Todrick Hall and Tamar Braxton are the only one that got all the names correct.
And what's his face from Pose? What's his name again? I forget right now. I always want to call him by
Swain?
Yes, I always want to call him by his
Pose name. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You got our name right.
Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. For getting it.
If you call me daddy, you're gonna go get in the panties. So daddy. Come on, Tamar.
and Anthony for singing too. He sang happy birthday. I was like,
that was amazing.
Pipes. I was like, oh, right now. Fuck.
He said, I'm not in Hollywood for nothing, darling.
Look, facts. I does it all.
There's something very extra black about his voice, especially when he sings.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something just like it takes.
It sounds like your uncle.
Right, exactly. Or like somebody singing at the barbecue. It takes you back. Like that was great.
It's almost like that signature church voice that you hear. That I've heard this. I've heard this time before.
It's comforting.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in good hands. But yeah, thank you everyone for all the well wishes as well, community. Mwah, we thank you. We thank
y'all for rocking with us. And get ready for these terrible twos, y'all. Look,
that part.
Yeah, we about to be stunting.
We'll be running all over this place.
I know that's right. And thank you for dealing with last week's episode too, because we did get a little tipsy.
Girl,
that episode was about nothing.
It was literally about nothing.
Actually, I'll take that back. The Ask Your Aunties question was very actually deep.
But outside of that, girl, I don't know what we was talking about.
Just laughing and kiki and gagging.
But remember, we did say that episode was for us.
It sure was.
It was.
I mean,
It
we gave y'all 100+ episodes that was just for y'all, and we went into it. We went into that episode. We had a laundry list of a whole bunch of stuff. And we even said before we even recorded, we're like, okay, we're going to get through. Let's just get through our whole list.
And I had the nerve to try to check us too.
Right,
I had the nerve to be like, and can we please try to get through the whole list? Like,
bitch, it didn't happen.
No,
it was just for me. Just for me. But today we will finally get through some of this list, hopefully.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start today then? What's number one on your list?
While we're thanking people, let's just send a huge thank you for all the people that showed out for the wig party.
Yes, that's a great way to start.
Yeah.
Speaking of just for me.
Yes, everyone that showed up. That was fun. And it
it's
was spilling
all your tea too.
And it was funny watching the progression of it too. Like everyone at first was kind of like quiet, you know, like, oh, it's my go. And then by by the second, half of it, then everyone was like,
they watching.
Girl, the stories were flowing. The laughs, like people were drinking. You could tell. We were like,
it was everything.
Them edges are loose now.
But here's what I'm trying to figure out: why Smithy got so much to say in the DMs, but when you get him on screen, he's 2 words. Smithy.
Oh no, he was there to check
the
girl.
No,
he was there to regulate. He was there to regulate because he did try to. He slid in there a couple times. I was like,
Smithy's the one that like. He's quiet, but will jab the shit out you. Will read the shit out you real quick. So, but then remember he did have that moment, and maybe we don't put his business all out there, but he did tell us how he'd be talking in the bedroom that threw us all off.
Look, we all clutched our pearls.
Right, he's like, I don't ask. I was like,
okay, Daddy.
Like, all of our faces on that Zoom were like,
yes, Daddy.
I needed to tell my husband to leave the room.
Daddy.
But yeah, thank you for everyone that took the time to do that. Yeah, that was fun. That was
good for my soul. I needed that. Like,
especially it might be one of those last Zoom parties too. Like, people are starting to get out and about. So it's just like, I wonder if Zoom parties stay around, or is that just going to be a relic of this time period?
Mm-hmm. I still feel like we got a ways to go. Like people are gonna go out and get buck wild this summer, and then we're gonna have a whole bunch of cases.
No.
I'm just saying. I will say this is the 3rd week of the go. Look, just because you got the vaccine does not mean that you can't catch COVID. Let's be clear.
True.
So people are gonna be out there trying to live their life like, oh yeah, let me take my mask off because I'm vaccinated.
Yeah, look, and this whole, like I said before, this whole half vaccinated thing ain't real, y'all. I can't tell you. I'm now up to 9 people that I personally know who have gotten COVID after getting the first vaccine, and they think, oh, I'm good now after the first one. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And don't get me started on this Johnson & Johnson and the blood clots that's happening too.
What the blood clot?
Oh, you on a roll tonight.
Well,
we know, but look, us black folks know about Johnson & Johnson though, so we tried to tell y'all.
That baby lotion.
Look,
I like their baby lotion still. That's still one of my favorite lotions, quite frankly. Side note, thank you, Johnson & Johnson, for that lotion. That lotion be working, and it smells good.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the pink bottle. The pink bottle smelled too much like the baby. Like you know, they got
the green one.
No, I get the yellow one. It's like
you get the yellow one,
like the shea butter in it and everything. You know the black skin, need a little shea butter in it. But
oh my God,
we already doing it. We already doing it. We ain't talking about nothing.
I do get a story though. So speaking of black people products, so I took Fizz to a beauty supply store for the first time this past weekend, and he was like, "What is this place?" And I was like, yeah, this is where we go to get our stuff. He was like, are all these wigs? I was like, no, honey. So this is how it goes. So those are extensions right there. And there are several ways you can put them in your head. You can do like your own little wig cap. You can do a sew in. You can do a glue in. You can do, and he was just like, oh.
He was learning.
God.
That was school.
Like, you took him to the promised land.
Wait, so did you take him to like
the land of
beauty
milk and honey?
supplies? Right.
I took him to the one
Like
that's next to the Dollar Tree where people be hanging out on the side, and only one door open. And they got a little security person inside, and the hair salon is inside there too, right when you walk in.
There we go.
So it's a one-stop shop.
We're not talking about like Sally's Beauty Supply. That's like mainstream.
We're talking about hair supply.
We need like the hood.
Where you get the do-rags and the silk wraps.
There we go.
Yes.
And all kinds of patterns.
Yes.
No, patterns.
Patterns. Got your bonnets over here, got your turbans over there,
and
got your pink lotion aisle.
And he pointed out to he was like, but how come there's all these black people here, but they got white people mannequins? And I was like, girl, because they don't do us right, girl. I was like,
I got mine back here. I got that one back here. He was like
looking at the lips of the mannequin. I was like, he was like, that's a white person lip. And I was like, I know.
And this is not like a racial statement. Was it owned by an Asian person?
Yes, it was.
Okay. That's a real one then. That's a real story.
That's a real one.
Yeah, that's a real one.
You know.
I low-key peeped that.
Yeah, and I low-key peeped that too as I was checking, and I was like, okay,
it's a legit one.
This ain't by us. It's for us, but it ain't by us.
Exactly. I know, and that's a sad thing, quite frankly.
Right.
All this money we spend on hair care,
and we still ain't going back into our own community.
So don't. That's a whole
they have the nerve to have Vivica A. Fox wig salon postings and stuff like that. I'm like,
I know. I've learned that my client is in the hair care industry for work, and I've just learned so much, even just data wise for that world, and knowing which companies are black owned still, which ones are not, which one. And it's a good thing. It's like you start these companies and you want to be bought, quite frankly. You want to be successful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then it's just the marketing plans, maybe a Shea Moisture maybe started as a black owned company, but that shit's owned by a L'Oreal now, or a Carol's Daughter started as a black owned company, but it's bought by XYZ. So it's just one of these things where consumers still are looking for black owned businesses and might either think a company still is owned by a black person or stops using it because it's no longer, even though it might have worked for their hair pattern. And that's the kind of the up and down, but we need to do more within this world because we out here.
That's why I stopped buying Carol's Daughter, because once I found out that there was no longer, I was like, oh, well, I'm not buying that again.
So I have a good idea, and whoever wants to take this can take it and run with it. But somebody needs to create somebody, or maybe this is owned by the intellectual property of Minoritea Report.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. Look.
So you heard it here first, and this is recorded, so we have a date stamp. But
there we go.
If you are an app developer out there and you want to get in on this business idea, hit us up.
Yes.
There needs to be an app that can scan barcodes of products to tell us whether it's black owned.
And yes, you heard the stutter. We'll talk about this behind the scenes. Because I agree. No, I agree.
Okay.
And that's
I like that.
Now the wheels
Would that be amazing? Right? Would that be amazing? You just go right down because you never really know, and especially when you're shopping and with so many amazing black-owned businesses that are out there that are getting shelf space, right? You never really know. So it would be great if you could just literally pull out your phone. It's I'm going to support my community. I might be buying at this Chinese-owned business, but I'm going to support the black business that's in there. So I'm going to buy this one. So
it's
all you got to do is just scan the barcode.
Because the company I work for there's two big companies. There's the company I work for, and then there's Nielsen, and everything is based off of barcode in the CPG industry. And so we have all that data from all the retailers. And one of the side programs that I'm working on at work, which I don't know, it's awesome to sign up, but then you just forget that there's a lot of work that comes when you join a lot of these committees at work. But we've worked with the retailers to identify certain black-owned businesses that are small that can't buy a lot of the tools that we have, or can't buy a lot of the tools that Nielsen has to get the data that they need to stay on shelf, to grow, to go into different categories and things like that. So it's been cool to be able to work like specifically with the company I'm working with. And I'm trying to debate if I put
Don't do it.
business. I know,
Don't
like,
do it.
Right.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But it's awesome because literally he's a small business owner. The product is awesome. And being able to provide him insights and data to help him grow at like a Target and at like a Walgreens has been so fulfilling because like the connection on that just black level is something else, you know, and you want to help more. And I don't know if that's right, wrong, or indifferent, but it is what it is. And it's just like, and then just to see the nuggets that I've been able to provide him to go sell in additional stuff, it's just been cool. So it's just like, that's why I said, we'll take this offline because there's probably actually a way to do it. Just knowing this stuff that I know from my day job. But anyway, okay, what's next? Okay, we did one.
Speaking of your job, though,
yeah,
I got the transition.
Okay.
Manager game. Let's do it now.
Oh, let's do it now.
Speaking of your job.
Okay, manager game. And for those first listening in, episode, I forget the number, but it's the Nasty Pig and Fubu episode, maybe 6-7 weeks ago. Had a one-on-one with my manager, had a Nasty Pig hat on, and she was trying to figure out what that was. And I think you're frozen a little bit, but
that's what I'm trying to figure this out.
We hear you though, girl. So that's good.
We hear you.
Oh, she back.
She back. Yeah.
And
Black power.
So my manager wouldn't drop it. She wouldn't drop it, and I kind of weaseled my way out of not telling her that it's called Nasty Pig. But ever since I told Jerrell and Dwan this story, they've been trying to guess my manager's name. And so we're going to do this the entire year this year. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to reveal what my manager's name and community. Let us know who you got your dollars on. Is it Jerrell or is it Dwan who's going to guess correctly?
And this going to be the last episode. We're going to keep telling this story over again. So y'all going to have to come back to the anniversary.
Yeah, y'all exactly. Y'all going to have to go back. And so if you heard this episode,
because I know some of the community be like, we know. Moving on. So don't worry, y'all. Y'all don't have to fast forward 15, 30 seconds, no longer. Like, this is the last time we're telling that story. So I am going with the Kerel.
Kerel. Okay.
Speaking of names,
right. Carol's daughter.
Right. Should I go with Jerrell?
Right. I'm going with Kerel too.
I was just about to say that. There's two of them.
There's two.
How lucky is that?
Kerel, Dwan, and Kerel.
All right, I'm going with Diane.
Okay. All righty. We got it this week.
She in there. Okay.
She in there. But we do know Verzuz coming up here on 4/20, and that's not a significant date for me. I never really smoked, but so maybe for you two, are you going to watch the Verzuz of Method Man versus Redman?
Nah, I won't be watching.
No,
because I coach late. Clearly, it'll be happening while I'm coaching. So nope. And I can't partake in 420 because your girl drive a school bus. So she can't.
You drive a school bus too?
Yes, I drive a school bus. That's how we get to our practices and matches. Bitch, I'll be Miss Frizzling the fuck out that bitch. No, Keisha, that's a bow.
Please take a picture of you in the school bus, girl. I need to see this. I need to see this.
You know, she be yelling at them like she an old mama. And y'all don't sit down back there, I'ma stop this bus.
Looking in that big ass mirror.
Exactly. My bus playing with the doors, the crank of the doors.
My bus is the hype bus. The kids be literally like, they will refuse to get on the other coach's bus because my bus is the hype bus. Like,
I'll be playing music and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll be playing music. We be like, look, I'll be rolling. We be like, hey, we be turning up. We be singing. Look, they be going in. But look, I don't need to hear anything that I need to report back to your parents. But you can be as loud as you want to. I don't care. You can listen to music. I don't care. But if I hear anything that it's gonna cost me my paycheck, you gotta go. and I'll tell on you. It's just that simple. So
that's
we simple. 100 real quick. Other than that, we can have a great on time. And they literally will wait outside my door, and they will try to pile in before
she got a line.
it fills out. I do.
She got a line up.
I do.
She the club.
She the club for the kids. Club D. Jerrells.
They love Coach Tate's bus. Like look, and it was funny because for track and field, the first thing like they asked me is like, "Oh, you'd be cool driving the school bus?" Because the kids already know. And I'm like, we going with him.
I love that.
That's awesome. Love that. That's great.
I actually parallel packed that bitch the other day, and I was like, and my kids were like, "Did you just parallel park a bus?" I was
I did. Yeah.
No, I did. I did make them turn the music down too, though. I had to make sure I was like,
you got to concentrate though. That's a real ass statement.
Hey,
that's a real ass statement. It's like when you're trying to park and when you're trying to order something at fast food. Like shit. What the hold on. What the I want?
Just gotta think about it.
That is a real statement.
Out of all the things in life that you think that you would accomplish, you probably could have never ever in your life said, I'm gonna drive
a school bus.
Me and Miss Frizzle gonna have this in common, damn it.
For real. Because it's not one of those big buses. It is one of the small ones like on Magic School Bus. So it's one of those. So if it's about like, I want to say if it's like 20 kids in it or something like that, like we'd be in there though, like, hey.
I am so here for it. So
hilarious.
Jerrell ain't smoking nothing from Verzuz. What you smoking on the one for Verzuz?
Well, I won't be smoking, but I'll be doing the edible.
Okay, I know that's right.
I'll be doing the edible, so I will be out of my mind. Yes, living it up.
Were you guys Redman and Method Man fans or Wu-Tang fans or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like huge into like, that whole scene because when that was popping and whatnot, I was coming into my own sexuality. Right. So I was more into En Vogue and Salt and Pepper and Monica and Brandy.
Right.
Right. The boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine.
Right. Excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?
No, he's mine. So you didn't listen to I'll Be There. That was my Redman song right there. My first name must be He Ain't Shit.
I honestly didn't listen to a lot of because my mom was like, she tried to when she could. She was still young, so I heard it in passing when she was being grown and forgot that she was still a mom sometimes. Yeah. So that's when I heard it, but it was never like I'm just gonna play this around my kids. It was, now y'all stay upstairs because we're doing grown folks down here, and I heard it through the walls. You
heard boom 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 to get by.
Yeah,
come on, Mary man.
A lot of my 90s rap was kind of censored for me. So
like
I got most of mine from music, honestly. Okay. Like when not music, from movies. When I watched movies and they were part of the soundtrack or sample in the movies, then I was like, oh, okay. Right. Oh, that song sounds good. Other than that, mom was like, it's a no.
Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me get parental advisory for the longest. But then obviously, like, especially like after I grew, because I've been like 6'2" since I was like 14. Like back in them Camelot days, you could just go in, like they didn't care at that point, Sam Goody and all that shit.
Sam Goody.
Right? Like Camelot and Sam Goody, they was like, as long as we get these coins, okay, how old are you? It don't matter. So I would like start sneaking certain CDs, and then the ones I didn't sneak, my friend Chris, who's in like the music industry now down here in Atlanta, like his parents didn't care, so I would hear everything there. He was like all about like No Limit, like early like No Limit, early Cash Money, Wu-Tang and all that. Yeah. So that's where I got like a lot of my rap. But then you go home and then it was like gospel. And then I had to learn like all the gospel songs because I played piano. So it was like always this weird juxtaposition of like I knew the songs, but I had to sneak them, put on my little CD Walkman.
What you listen to? Praise him.
Right, exactly. Dottie Peoples.
Right.
She had one foot in the hood and the other foot in the pulpit.
Literally, that was like my life. And then like it was like a third. Well, that's gonna sound weird. I was about to say like a third foot, but that's sexualized. But like it's like suburbia, like white world, the church, and then like black culture, hood culture. Like it was just weird. And then knowing I was gay all around.
That's a very real thing. Cause like I do feel like when you're growing up, especially growing up Black, there is an affinity for hip hop culture, Black culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then there's all this other stuff, and there is a little bit of like, I don't know if we want to call it betrayal, but like when you like, I don't know, like
love me, say that you love me. That's when I heard that shit, I was like, that shit is hot as hell. I don't care about anything.
I'm just gonna love you. Anything Gwen Stefani, no doubt. Like it's just, but it's like when you,
Cranberry, or who was that? The
Red Hot Chili, no, that was No Doubt. But Red Hot Chili Peppers, Guns N' Roses, like the list can go on, but it does feel a little bit like betrayal.
The Cardigans.
Because, like,
it was the Cardigans. That's who it was. I had to look it up. It was gonna bother me.
But it does feel a little bit like betrayal because it's like you stepping outside of your culture, but you can't help liking what you like.
Like my dad, like I get that from my dad though. Like my dad growing up, he was like, you know what? If it's a good song, it's good. Like that's the weird thing. Is like he knew if it was a good song. Like he appreciated music so much because he played piano and everything growing up. And he'd be like, yeah, we used to play in the jukeboxes or the juke jams,
the juke joints.
Like the juke joints. There we go. Thank you. Growing up, so he at least that part of him he understood. If he did see me buy a CD and things like that, he's like, I understand and appreciate the music, but don't tell your mama. And so because he'd be like, he loves him some country music. He loves him some Elton John. So like, it's just like these moments where I'm so glad again that he didn't put limits on music for me, because he's like, if it's a good ass song, well, he wouldn't say good ass song, but he'd be like, if it's a good song, play it. You know, it is what it is. So I agree. It's just like sometimes with Black culture, some folks, not everyone, but some folks might try to stifle that, you can only listen to hip hop, you can only listen to R&B. It's like, no, there's some good ass songs out there that y'all missing out on. If you don't want to touch it, I'm going to touch it because that shit be bumping.
My mom was the same way because she used to love for some Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi is like the only like white group that I know of that time.
And that's like the white of the white.
Right. My mom loves her some Bon Jovi, yo. Still don't understand to this day. And she also loves some Celine Dion. She loves her some Celine Dion. She do.
My sister loves Creed.
Creed was there's a couple songs that I would hum along,
but that's it. Like she didn't listen to anything else that was white. It was just Creed. It was like 2 songs.
She said, if I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go all the way.
Love it.
She jumped in feet first.
And it was interesting too, just like having like some of my best friends like bringing in the polka and things like that. Them being white people, but then just the appreciation of Black culture and hip hop and things like that. Like I remember the first time I heard the Biggie Life After Death albums because Breen got it before I was able to get it. And that double disc, and I remember just track practice, I think junior high. And once again, them CD Walkmans with the 20-second skip and the protection. Yeah. Him sitting out there listening to that album. I'm like, oh, what you listen to? He's like, oh, that new Biggie album. I'm like, oh, let me hear it. I want to hear it. I haven't gotten to hear it yet, So it's just interesting as much as we appreciate like maybe the white culture and the white music, quote unquote, the white community appreciating the hip hop and things like that.
Oh, because they appropriate. We know they appreciate because they steal it at the same time. So,
that part too. But like it's just cool that like the ones that truly appreciate the story and know the stuff and and pay money for it and to go to concerts and things like that truly appreciate it. It's interesting to look back on that now and just be like, wow, I'm glad I grew up, even though the hardships and the things like that, it kind of makes you who you are to appreciate a fuller story, and like how we always say, the fuller of the spectrum of just life, quite frankly. You know?
Yeah, I get that, because there's sometimes I've gone to like a Tori Kelly concert because she can sing her face off, and I go there and I look around and I'm like, going back to that first episode, the speck of pepper and the sea of salt, I'd be like, I don't see nobody that look like me, but she be singing her face off, so I'm gonna stand
all the way off.
So so I get that. I do notice when I be at like, when I went to On the Road tour too, and I was like, okay, there's some white people up in here. There's quite a few, I'm like, okay, you go to other, like even Chris Brown concert. I went to his concert a few years ago, and I was like, okay, there's some white folks up in here too, you know. So I definitely understand that, but I will say this: I've learned a lot about white music. Let me take that back. I've learned a lot about white people music by going to sporting events. You know how you like when you go to a basketball game and there's like those 5 or 6 songs at a sporting event that they always play, like Sweet Home Alabama. I have never heard that full ass song. No,
you heard that snippet,
but I know that snippet, and I will sing my lungs out.
I know that's right.
Like, or like We Are the Champions. Like I never really heard that song until going to a sporting events where there's a bunch of other white people. Because that ain't
just a small town boy.
Yeah.
In Hollywood. That might be, like I always say this. Right? Bitch, I'll be singing though.
Come on, Journey. Look.
He be hitting them notes. I'm like, this motherfucker's singing.
I ain't never heard that full ass song in my life. I know certain parts of it because it's sporting. I'm like, okay,
That and you know who I used to love a lot? Aerosmith. Aerosmith be jamming too, low key.
Aerosmith has some jams. Aerosmith has some jams.
What song? I can't name any.
Love in an Elevator. Man, look like
going down.
Oh my god.
In the elevator.
What? You don't know
what
about
that? Oh my gosh.
What's the one with what's the old girl from Clueless? She was in all them videos.
Oh gosh.
Alicia Silverstone.
Yes. Alicia Silverstone.
Yes,
yeah.
She was all in all them videos. Like Walk This Way with like Run DMC and Dream On.
Oh, that's Aerosmith?
Yeah.
Oh. It's crazy when I left you, but I forget the words. When I met you,
I've been crying.
Ooh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like there's a amazing. That was another. Like there's a bunch of Aerosmith. I
don't want to miss a thing. Like that's like the big song, but one is not my favorite.
Is that the lead singer Tyler something? What's
Tyler?
Steve Tyler. Okay. Yeah, with the big ass mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Big ass mouth.
I'll call it a 2-dick mouth. I call it a 2-dick mouth. When you're like, you can fit both. It's a 2-dick mouth.
A 2-dick mouth.
It's a 2-dick mouth.
We learning a lot today.
Okay.
By the way, Kerel.
A 2DM.
Right. By the way, Kerel.
Yes.
You set yourself up for a lot of work as it relates to these songs. Our playlist is going to be lit. So I just want to add one more. Phil Collins, In the Air.
Oh, that's good.
Phil Collins,
every black person like that one. I can feel coming in the air
tonight. Oh no.
There's so many of these songs. I know the lyrics, but again, I can't tell you who sang it. I can't tell you the name of the track.
Benatar was another one. What's the one? I've been around the world and I can't find my baby.
That's Lisa Stansfield.
That's a bop. Woo!
Why he's gone away and I don't know where he can be. My baby, but I'm gonna find him.
Ooh, that's a bop.
That is a bop.
Jerrell, you're gonna have to listen to the playlist after
I'm gonna listen to the playlist to get caught up. I got my homework.
Looking for my baby.
In the words of Auntie Juwan, it's a no.
It's a no.
That ain't it.
That ain't it. Oh,
look, if this was my karaoke, it would be.
Like you could call me Al. That's another one. There's a bunch that I've learned growing up where I grew up that I don't know if I would have ever taken the time to explore further just because it was there, you know. It's just like it was just part of the ether, part of my environment. But then literally the Sunday and Wednesday night and then Saturday church rehearsal, things like that, we listen to Hezekiah Walker and Kirk Franklin and Donnie Peoples and Thomas Whitfield, and then the new Biggie album come out, and then the new Foxy Brown album come out, and the Lil Kid, like the Missy, like my world is so defined by music and just different genres. It's like insane to me. And then literally I was in band in high school, so playing classical music, and I played the piano, so the older I've gotten, the more thankful I am for it, because there's just so much out there. And then even being married to Corey now, there's music that I had never knew existed that he'll play, and I'm like, who is this? That's dope as hell. I would never like a. Do you know who Phoebe Snow is?
Yeah, Phoebe Snow.
Phoebe Snow is so, and like he loves it because like his mom used to listen to it like that was like his cleaning up the house and stuff like that. And so since his mom passed, like that's still his kind of like connection to it. So he'll be in here just jamming to some like Phoebe Snow. He'd be jamming to like Roberta Flack, even though I knew who Roberta Flack her songs was. And then just like he loves Prince. He might be the biggest Prince stan I know. It's just like Jesus, like it's Prince all day, every day. Like there's even certain Prince songs like he's put me on. So it's just like I don't know how we got music like that, but it's just life. Love it. Oh yeah, Verzuz. That was what we were talking about. Damn.
So apparently we're not watching the Verzuz.
I might peek my head in. We'll see.
I'll watch.
And I like Redman, Method Man. So I like, especially Method Man. Method Man used to be one of my favorite rappers. So I feel like I might. I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing, but I'll peek in.
I'm curious to see like what the production is going to be like, because you know when the pandemic started and they were doing this, it was like, you know, like completely separate, you know, separate studios and everything. And now with everybody going to like the Tyler Perry studios or whatever, you know, to make it happen, it'd be interesting to see like what the production will look like.
And how high they get.
That part.
420.
I get
that
so
part.
So yeah, and then there's another Verzuz after that that's supposed to be, Timbaland and Swizz are going to do a part 2 because they were the ones that initially set it off last year. So I think that's Memorial Weekend.
Well, and you also have Escape and SWV, right?
Yep, that's
yeah.
That's gonna be a good one.
That's in like 2 weeks. I want to say that's like
it's in May,
like the first week of May, like the 3rd or something like that.
I'm trying to look it up, but they blurred everything out now.
Yeah.
May 8th.
Didn't we pit them against each other when we did our tourney? When we did our women's tourney, didn't we pit them against each other, or were they in different brackets?
You did it doing your revoke your black card too.
Yeah.
And I think Jerrell picked TLC though. I picked SWV, and then the one you picked in Vogue.
Yeah.
Nobody picked Escape. Damn. Escape got some bops.
I mean, they do.
And if Candy puts her bops on top of these bops, then Escape's gonna win.
Right.
But if they say nope, only the group songs, I think I might have SWV then. Yeah.
I get so weak on my knees, I can hardly speak.
We were letting you have your moment, sis.
So
we were like,
we're gonna see. It's like, let's see if she knows these words.
I'm just sitting here thinking about all the stuff you're gonna have to add to the playlist because of this one episode, girl. She's gonna be listening, editing the episode, and like that pencil is gonna be like
literally
smoking
every episode. Like I
trying to get them all down.
Like it's like I have a system now to this point. Like it's like I write down everything, like topic wise. I write down who sang it, the timestamp, and everything, just in case in the future we need to like quickly go back and reference something. But yeah, this episode's jam. And if you have not subscribed to that playlist, what you waiting for? What you waiting for is Minoritea Report breaks out into songs. Subscribe to it on Spotify. I guarantee you will be getting your life to this playlist because it's so eclectic. It's everything. Songs you probably forgot about.
It's gonna be great for this summer too, y'all. Like honestly, it's gonna be great. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
But speaking of Verzuz, one Verzuz that we loved, but now we gotta say rest in peace is the DMX. Like he went against Snoop last year, but man, that one hurt my heart. Yeah. I loved me some DMX back in the day. I still do, but like I used to jam to some DMX, man. So and And it's just like, that's such a troubled soul, you know, from an early stage. And like, if you just know his history, like the reason why he became an addict was like a mentor laced his weed cigarette with crack. And that's what started it. Someone he trusted laced his whatever he was smoking with crack at 14 years old.
Wow.
And it was like a person he looked up to that was like 30 did that to him. And ever since then have struggled with addiction. And so it's just like, come on. It's a tragic story. But I mean, like, obviously he rose to the ranks and things like that. But even when he was at his most popular, was still kind of dealing with those demons of addiction. So we know addictions, it affects a lot of families. But man, that one hurt me. So
yeah, great.
Well, I mean, we're 40 minutes in. Should we get into it? I'm trying to think what else we need to before the rest of the episode kind of get a little deeper.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Jesus. By the way, J-Lo and AROD split. I don't know why people care how many relationships Jennifer Lopez has been in and out of, because there's some relationships that y'all shouldn't be in and probably should have got out of. But
and doesn't AROD have a bigger body count than J-Lo anyway? And wasn't he the one that was given? I was trying to remember, and maybe I got it mixed up, but because that has happened before. But wasn't he the one that when he would hook up with somebody, he would give them a signed baseball as a parting gift?
I don't know, but that's everything.
Yes, no, he had a collection of them. So like if he was like limoing somebody home, he would like just take one of these.
That is the most vain thing I've ever heard. That's incredible.
I mean, that's up there with that fake story about those Usher bucks that tried to get out there this past weekend too.
That is up there too.
That was funny.
That was funny.
But I do got some questions though about this whole J-Lo AROD thing. Like, I appreciate J-Lo's, hard work. She came a long way from being a fly girl. Okay. You cannot deny how much she has worked her butt off to be where she is today. Yep. The resume speaks for itself.
Period.
But the relationship resume speaks volumes too. I mean, it was questionable with Mark Anthony to begin with. We were all like, girl, why? But then we've seen, afterwards, she dates some questionable people as well, too. And then we got our hopes up because we're like, oh my God, these two look really happy. And I'm so excited for this couple. Like, yes, like I was happy for her. I was genuinely happy for her. But then I couldn't help but ask, like, what happened? Not in the sense because I'm nosy. I was gonna say I'm not nosy, but I'm nosy. I just want to know. I just want to know why. I just really want to know why. It
sounds like AROD. This one, there was rumors that he was cheating.
Yeah, that's
been out there for like the last.
Which
that just goes. I don't get it.
That just goes to show, though, it don't matter. I mean, look.
But is it personality? Is it personality behind closed doors, though? Like, I also want to ask those questions too, because there are two sides to every story. So, like, as much as someone does cheat, there are sometimes people are driven away from their relationships too by an individual. Some people can self-sabotage their relationships and actually push a person away, So it's very easy to be like, oh, the person cheated, and so they're the ones at fault. But a person can be pushed away and kind of directed into less in this relationship because they aren't doing what they're supposed to do,
And just really quickly, I have a correction. It wasn't AROD. It was Derek Jeter.
Okay, that sounds all right.
I knew it was one of them, but I couldn't remember, and I just confirmed it. It was Derek Jeter that had a basket of autographed baseballs that he would just give away to his one-night stands.
Wow,
that sounds right.
Damn, I wish I had that back in the day. Shit, put my sign in. Here's a cereal box for you.
Right. But I am curious though, because I love J-Lo and her rom-coms. Like I can't help, like every time I think about J-Lo as a person, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's probably like her
Made in Manhattan.
Yes, you know, like, or she's like her character from The Wedding Planner, you know,
Right.
like she's just this nice, bubbly person because she does that so well. So in my mind, I've kind of like just gave her that persona, you know.
But here's the flip side of that though. It's just like, okay, we might know of what, like maybe 7 to 8 of her relationships probably.
Mm-hmm.
I know some friends and some family members that have been in a lot more relationships than that. Mm-hmm. And we ain't saying a damn thing to them. That's my whole thing. It's like, at the end of the day, I really...
I mean, she got albums. I mean, her success is built on the
back
of her previous
so
lovers.
Like, so I just don't know why we pick on her.
Because it ain't her talent.
I think at the end. I think at the end of the day.
I stayed out of that.
I said it.
I think at the end of the day, I don't know about you all, but like there's still a little bit of saltiness with the breakup between P. Diddy and J-Lo from back in the day, and I feel like. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like,
is that Versace dress, huh?
It was just like, I don't, and like, if you think about it, they do the same thing to Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
They do the same thing. So I feel like people that came up in that late 90s, you know, early 2000s, like the power couples that were at that particular, that were at the height of whatever, you know, like I feel like there was people are clinging on to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because they praise Liz Taylor's 9 marriages.
Well, so here's the thing. So then the answer is don't name your kids Jennifer.
Oh, that's the common denominator.
There you go. Oh, they won't have those issues.
No more Jenny from the blocks.
No.
No mas.
You can say your ass at home. Stay your ass at home.
I think
get off the block.
According to a bunch of celebrities, Kerel is a very good name.
Yes. With a K.
Right. Kerel. Kerel.
It's funny, like, because to hear, like, going back to just the name Kerel, like, I've heard that's the most common mispronunciation, if I can even pronounce that word, of my name. And it doesn't even bother me anymore because I've heard it. Like I told Jamaal, I was like, literally get like triggering from like substitute teachers and shit. Like, you know your name about to come up, and it's that slight pause.
Or like the doctor's office where they just don't know your name.
Right. And luckily in Atlanta, they get it more right than wrong. Thank you, black people here. But the only person that it still upsets is my mom. And like, say if we go out to dinner and I put my name down for the wait or whatever, and they say, Kerel, party of 5 or whatever, it upsets my mom. She's like, his name is Kerel. I'm like, well, Mom, you should have named me something a little easier then, because it's the only person that is still upset. It doesn't bother me at all. Like,
at least she knows it's her problem. That's why she still feels somewhere. She's like, you know, that's my fault.
Yeah.
This is my fault.
But she gets so upset every time.
I do feel like if your name had like a capital R, it might have put an emphasis on the fact that that there is emphasis on the latter part, the last syllable of that instead of the first one, because it's like Kerel versus Kerel.
But like a lot of people put like the K is really Kerr with the E, and I just even that I don't even like correct people because they're like Kerel, and I'm like, well, it's really Kerel, but it is what it is.
I mean,
and that's why people call me Rel more times than not, because
yeah. And you know, like it's funny, like my name is spelled exactly like the name Terrell. You put a T and people know how to say Terrell. But you put a J and it's a whole different name.
Well, that's
Jerrell,
that's because J has 2 sounds attached to it.
But it's still the the jur.
Right.
Jur. Like, even if it was Gurrell, I would be like, okay, well then that's that part. Then I would get that. But Jer, that is the wrong way. Come on.
Let's blame this one on Eddie Murphy from The Golden Child, because that was his name, Jerrell.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Jerrell. It was Jerrell. It was Jerrell, right? Yeah. Jerrell. Yeah. Let's blame it on Eddie Murphy. It's your fault. You messed it up for the culture.
So did. But okay. Anyway, what time is it?
Ask your
Yeah.
I haven't read one in a while, so I'm gonna read this one. It says, "I'm trying to extend myself to
Girl,
friendships
you read
with gay
people all
men."
the time.
You right.
That part.
You right. Okay, I take that back. It says, "I'm trying to extend myself to friendships with gay men. This isn't in my nature for many reasons, but mostly my self-esteem and self-worth. I'm seeing men with same interests, experiences, commonality. I'm reaching out, starting conversations, stating what I'm looking for. Mostly I've been ignored with no response. I've been told not interested. I've also been made to feel not desirable for a friendship. This is really starting to affect my efforts and desire to make friends. I've only got one person in my life and feel so alone. This is not the outcome I've been trying to achieve. Any advice?"
So it almost sounds like apps and things like that.
That's what it sounded like to me. And I get it, especially depending on where this person lives, accessibility, and, we're in a damn pandemic. So it's not like you can go out to bars and blah, blah, blah. Although I never really look for friends in bars. I look for cocktails or cocks and tails, depending upon.
There it is. There it is.
Depending upon. Right? Exactly.
You gotta separate them two cheeks.
It was either this or that. So
That part.
Or both.
but it was never really going there for friendship. So I think that what I would offer is friendships are built off of common interests and common experiences. So, one of the things that's really worked for me, because I've moved around from city to city, and so I've been to cities where I didn't know a single person, right? And I think and it was important for me to have gay friends around me. And living in this COVID environment, it's not like you can really drum up those relationships at work, because your work is your living room, your bedroom, or wherever you Zoom in from or whatever, so it's not like it's not like you're interacting with people, organically that would, lead to those kinds of experiences. But what I will offer is there's a lot of different things that you can do, even virtually, but even also in a togetherness way. There are really great social groups on Facebook that meet up, that have conversation nights, book clubs, shared stories, shared experiences. There's a bunch of groups for people who just want to meet friends or just want to connect with other people. There's a group on Facebook now that I think, I don't know if you guys are part of it. I know I'm part of it. It's called Gay Men Thriving. And it's the intention of that is to really be a positive place to lift other people up, and you can formulate relationships, friendships. They are explicit about this. It's not a hookup site. You don't be posting your selfies, your shirtless, shirts. So it's not about that. And it's a really great opportunity for people to get some, meet some connections virtually that you can, express yourself with and build relations with. But also there are meetups. So, you can go into meetups, meetups.com, and find, those that are doing social distance gatherings. So I would encourage you to look outside of, perhaps the standard, restaurant, bar / app avenue, and look more to activities or experiences. If you're into hiking, or if you're into running, or if you want to get into running, there's a ton of beginner running, meetups where you can socially distance but meet other people that are also going through something similar, without the perhaps embarrassment of how one performs, because everybody's at the same pace. Yeah. I met a lot of friends when I moved to Chicago by joining sports leagues, sports that I didn't even play. So there are ways to do that, that don't conflict with your desire not to look for hookups, but really look for genuine relationships.
Yeah, because I feel like if this is just from the tone of the question via apps, at the end of the day, we know what a lot of the apps, at least foundationally, turn into. The root of it is probably more hookups than friendships. Not to say that it can't happen. Right, exactly. Not that I said exactly. For those listening to the podcast, watch the YouTube, because Daunte doing some hand gestures there. But so that might just not be the right avenue to find friendships, quite frankly. So I agree with Dewan. What are you interested in? And then find whatever those meetups, whatever those avenues are, whether it be Facebook groups, whether it be sporting groups, whatever it may be, that might be your best bet. And I was sitting here trying to think, I was like, how do I form friends? I don't know. Like, it's kind of one of those things, just like, do you want to be my friend? Like, I don't know. Like Dewan, especially in Chicago was like the first time in my adult life that I was really able to specifically set out to look for gay friends, which is kind of odd. But it was hard at first because like sometimes when you're doing that, you don't know how to act, you don't know how to be. And literally the first gay friend, and I think we said on last week's episode, was my friend Garrett, and literally was at Big Chicks. I went there by myself, and Garrett was there by himself. And anyone who knows Garrett, he's just a very outgoing human being. And so he literally came up to me. He was like, hey, I see you standing there. You want to be my friend? Literally was like his first sentence to me, because he had just moved to Chicago. And so I was standing there like, okay, that's very odd and weird, but yeah, sure, I'll be your friend. And we danced the rest of the night away. It was like no sexual anything. And Garrett's a great looking human being, but it was from the get-go set out, okay, that was gonna be my friend. And he's been my friend since. And then it might just take that one person to kind of find maybe other people they're connected to and things like that, and kind of form it through there. Because the same way with Garrett, I was able to find another friend with David and kind of become friends with some of his friends. And then that's how I got invited to do like the sports stuff, the gay sporting groups in Chicago. And just over time, you just find your squad and like your forever family and things like that. So you might have to put yourself out there in different avenues outside the apps, which is hard right now, I get, during the pandemic, like Dewan said. So you might have to find different virtual avenues. There's even professional meetup groups and things like that I've become a part of here in Atlanta. That I like. That's how I met Patrick, who was on last summer, who's the writer and star of Scales. If you haven't watched the web series, check it out. Season 3's out now. Right, very handsome guy. But like that's how I became friends with him. Was literally doing this gay professional meetup group. So you're gonna have to put yourself out there a little bit. If you don't want a lot, maybe it just takes like one or two people that you meet that they form these friendships. Or even if they become acquaintances, maybe you meet someone through them and things like that. So you're gonna put yourself out in different avenues than just what it sounds like these apps, because they just looking for dick and ass, quite frankly.
Yeah, I agree. I think both of y'all pretty much put the hammer on the nail. I mean, you have to, one, make sure what you're putting out there is what you're trying to get. So just make sure that you are drawing that line in the sand, and it's easier to do that not on set apps like they just all said. Like those apps, the line in the sand is booty a dick.
Made by a dick.
You know, like that's the line in the sand, you know. So try to go in there for anything else is a little foolish on your end, you know. But also just, I think it's very important to know like what you're looking for in a friend as well too, you know, because the truth is a friendship is a form of relationship. Okay. So, you know, you want to make sure that you're attracting like that energy where someone would want to give what you're asking or giving in return. Like that's really what a friendship is, you know? So if you are, you know, wanting someone who's always gonna be chasing after you or calling you or texting you, and you're not doing that in return, like that's not a friendship, you know? So I also want to point that out there too. Like just be aware of what you're asking for, you know, and making sure that you're bringing something to the table, because it's the friendships that work just like a relationship, you know? So I want to add that. And then again, I agree with sports. You know, I think that's another way. Try to get outside of sex and bars and stuff like that. Get in, meeting people in a mutual hobby or mutual interest is another way that automatically, like, oh, you automatically like something because you're both already doing something you have an interest in. So there's already a commonality there. So that's a great way to start a friendship. Being like, oh, we like the same thing. What about this? How do you feel about this? And then go from there, you know. But just
can I piggyback off the sports thing real quick?
Yeah, go for
just
it.
Really quick, because I know a lot of people are triggered by sports because it's like, you know, toxic masculinity, blah blah blah, and I get that. Or you might just not be sports inclined. Like I don't play football. I'm not into football. I'm like too uncoordinated to play basketball. So like the team sports didn't really do it for me personally. You know, I play tennis. I could play volleyball a little bit, but again, like I have a little bit of vertigo, so me jumping up and down ain't great. So, you know, I don't know why I'm giving you a medical history. But to Jerrell's point around the whole sports thing is that a lot of sports leagues have entry level or just, you know, like for fun leagues where it's not about competition, where you'll meet other people who are uncoordinated, got vertigo, don't know how to play, don't know how the rules, don't know which, you know, aren't sports fanatics or whatever, but doing it for the purpose of having common interests with other people. So I don't want, even though it feels like we're pushing the sports thing really hard, I just want people to know that you don't have to be a sports fanatic in order to get in there. If the goal in mind is to meet people that you can vibe with. Like if you're just not meeting people and you only have one friend, you can join a sports league. And let's say you join, you know, a flag football or a dodgeball or a kickball, you know, that has 12 people on a team. You may vibe with 2 of them. That means that you've just more than doubled your intake of friends from before you even, you know, joined that league. So,
but don't join my team. I get too competitive. I need you to do well.
Well, you're not in the D League. you know. Right.
Yeah, I totally understand that. But yeah, the point is though, like, and Duan's correct though, like, you know, there are certain parts of sports and the gay community that are specific for the social aspect, not the competitive component of it, but just to be seen, be heard, and say a few things. You know, like there is that part to sports too. So definitely that's what we're getting at with that part. But you know, I say, you know, going back to what I was saying, I'll just make sure that you think about what you're putting out there. You know, I have met people who I've tried to be friends with, but, you know, their negativity or self-esteem within themselves has been, it drags you down, you know? So I encourage you to make sure that you, one, love yourself, you know, that you are positive and that you got you together first before trying to bring another person into your life, okay? Because I've had to literally end friendships with people or stop trying to talk to people because they didn't have their stuff together and that stuff started to roll on to me in my life, and I had to be like, sorry, this ain't for me, you know? So if you find yourself, you know, battling your own demons, slay them demons first, and then figure out the friendship.
Especially with that desirable line. That's what I was thinking too. It's just like been made to feel not desirable for a friendship. So it's like, what are you putting out there that folks are returning like, girl, I don't want to hang with your ass.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
And so I agree. It's like, deal with yourself. But then again, it might simply be you're at the wrong avenue. You're trying to get a Big Mac at Burger King. Like,
not a Big Mac.
Go to Burger King and get a Whopper, bitch, or go to McDonald's and get the Big Mac. So it's just like,
I'm not going to give you a sports analogy. We talked about that.
It's like, everybody know about food. Everybody look. I don't need no translator for that.
So if you're interested in sci-fi and things like that, find those groups. Go to, I mean, there's not a lot of comic book stores anymore, but if you're into music, go to a record store. Go to, like, literally, I had friends in Chicago that I knew I could talk to and call on if there was like a little group that we want to go see. Like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with like my friend Rex. Hey, Rex. We'd be like, oh, you going to a concert? Okay, count me in next time you go on because I like music as well. So find those people that have those mutual and find those lanes.
Yeah.
Scrub ain't the lane. Grinder ain't the lane.
You can find a lot, like if you can find a lot through meetup.com and just Facebook. Facebook has a lot, like, again, I keep thinking about like those, again, if you're like in a small town, you know, where you just don't have a lot of access to other gay individuals or activities, you know, that could potentially be a barrier. It's like, okay, well, if you live in Schenectady and there isn't a gay league in Schenectady, you know, then, you know, what do I do? But I guarantee you, if you look on Facebook, you'll find like, you know, even like adjacent towns where there are, you know, groups of people, whether it's a book club or it's a walking tour, or people who love nature and love to hike, or people that go camping or whatever. And there are a lot of national organizations around those special interests that have people that live in towns that are similar to you. So you might not be able to find somebody that's specifically in your town, but you might be able to find somebody that's 20 minutes over. You know, so, you know, look at those kind of options, because I know it's tough. We're in COVID. Not a lot of people, even though people are getting their vaccines, not a lot of people are gathering in groups. So that makes it challenging. But, you know, I guarantee you that if you do a little bit of research of what meetups or what groups or what opportunities are in your particular surrounding area, not just in your city, there'll be some things available to you. And depending on your comfort, if you feel comfortable to travel,
that's what I was thinking just now. Yeah,
maybe there are tons of gay traveling groups that are out there where you can meet up with somebody, you know, or meet up with a group of people, like 10 people that are doing a road trip, you know, like on a big bus or whatever, you know, from this place to that place, or that are meeting up in Cabo or meeting up in, you know, in
I was about to say, I ain't getting on no bus with no strangers.
I'm just saying,
that's how movies are made up. No, that's a no for me.
But you know what's another good thing too that I did when I was in Chicago, and they have it in a lot of the major cities. So like, say like, because now I'm starting to think like, if I lived back home in the small town I lived, I might have to go to Detroit. I might have to go to Grand Rapids to do some of this stuff. But there's gay days at Six Flags. There's gay nights at like the Tiger Stadium I know in Detroit. And here they do a LGBTQIA plus night at the Braves Stadium and things like that. You're gonna have to look a lot, especially if you're in a smaller area. But even if you're in Atlanta, look for those avenues, and they're posted everywhere. There's so many freaking ads on like Facebook and IG of stuff popping up. But like, I'm just even rereading the question again now. It's like, this mostly my self-esteem and self-worth. You're gonna have to work on yourself.
And
like,
you know, and that part got me, and that's why I want to just reset this part one time too. You don't fuck your friends. If you putting out that you want friends and you then trying to flirt with them, you gonna get turned the fuck down, because don't nobody want that shit. That's called a lie. A lie. Okay? And you try to trick and bamboozle somebody, and don't nobody want that. So
you can smell it. You can smell it. There's a difference between when you're meeting people who just want to be platonic, and you're meeting somebody who's using platonic-ism as a way to get in your isms.
Absolutely.
To get that jism.
I'm dead.
Come on, yes, Lord. But I mean,
that's a soundbite.
Right. I mean, in friendships, gay, straight, all the between is work, like Jerrell said. So just be prepared for that piece too. But continue to send your questions to aya@minoriteareport.com or DM us. We know you're getting these vaccines, so you're gonna be out and about more. So whatever this new shit you're getting into, let us know so we can provide some advice and some opinions on it. So aya@minoriteareport.com or DM us. So
go ahead and move on to Minnesota. We got to talk about it.
Minnesota's back in the news. It's just heavy, just because it's just like, here we go again. Like we
go ahead and talk.
We know what happened. So Daunte Wright was a 20-year-old male that got stopped by a cop.
Because of the air freshener.
Air freshener.
And it is illegal in the state of Minnesota for you.
Have air freshener in your mirror?
You can't have nothing dangling from your rearview mirror because they say it's an obstruction of view. Gotcha. You can't even have your cell phone thing like on the windshield. Like you can't have nothing on your windshield at all.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So got stopped for that. They say he had a warrant for his arrest.
Which apparently was because they sent the wrong. They sent it to the wrong address. So that's what made them have a warrant.
And so I don't know how it escalated. Don't care how it escalated, if it even escalated. Was in the car with like a girl, not sure if it was his girlfriend or not.
Yeah, it was his girlfriend.
He calls his mom to say, hey, I just got pulled over. I need my insurance information. I don't have it with me, et cetera, et cetera. Then the mom was saying that then she heard the cop come up, and then like the phone, like told him to hang up the phone and things like that. And then next thing you know, the girlfriend calls his mom back on FaceTime saying they shot him. And again, this is in Minneapolis, similar area of the George Floyd stuff and the trial that's going on there. So tensions are already heightened.
And clarification, it's in Brooklyn Center, which is like literally it's surrounding. It's like literally it's right north of the black area of the black neighborhood. Like it's literally right next to the black folks neighborhood. It's by the hood.
Yeah.
It's where we say we made it when we can make it, you know, when we get out of Minneapolis. Like, you know.
So it's these are already heightened right now with George Floyd trial in that area and the globe in our country. But it's like, I couldn't even imagine being in that area right now.
Well, and ironically, this week it came out that also within Minnesota, a white man was stopped and pulled a gun on an actual officer, and the officer somehow this guy did not get shot.
Yeah,
and the officer that shot Daunte Wright as well is now saying that got the taser mixed up with the gun.
And she's supposed to be someone that's teaching police, you know, other
police had a rookie cop with
in the academy, like, and she's been on the force for 26 years. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense whatsoever. But if you've been watching the George Floyd trial or because he's not on trial, the Derek Chauvin, however you say his name,
the murderer,
the murderer.
Right.
You know, you've been watching how they've been trying to now. You see today that they were trying to say that, because people were yelling at him, that he was distracted from noticing that he was killing this man. It's the new argument.
For 9 minutes.
I just can't. And I'm pissed because that's my home. Minneapolis is my home. Like where I grew up on North Side Minneapolis is literally 15 minutes away from where Daunte was shot. You literally can take Penn Avenue all the way to Brooklyn Center and hit the mall right on 100 over there. And that was on 63rd. So it's right before you even hit the fucking highway. And then you got George Floyd that happened about 20 minutes south, literally where I live. You can literally take Penn all the way over there. You can take Lindale actually all the way over there that runs south to north. I just think of my city, and I said this almost a year ago now, you know, when George Floyd passed, you know, was murdered. And I'm glad I'm no longer there. And I find myself being like, man, I was really fortunate enough to be surrounded by people who I didn't have to think about, or I didn't have to see this side of Minneapolis. You know, like my experiences in Minneapolis are a lot different. Now, I have been profiled several times. I've not once been profiled in Washington, but I've been profiled over a dozen times in Minneapolis. So that pulling you over shit is a real thing, especially on the north side. I've had it happen a couple times, and the car wasn't even stolen. He just realized that the name belonged to a white friend of mine, and it was a black man driving the car, and that's why I got pulled over. That's happened twice. Same damn vehicle. The shit's wild, and at this point, burn the whole fucking place down. Not my people. Burn it all down. I'm ready. The shit needs to change, and it's time to act a fool like Medea. Sometimes, like Medea said, sometimes you gotta act a fool to get results. And a year ago, I was talking about don't mess up my city, don't do this. But I'm starting to see right now that city don't give a fuck about us. They really don't. And at this point, we can't have shit. You can't have shit. I'm like Tanisha, if you ain't getting no sleep, ain't nobody getting no sleep up in here. Right. Look, I'm ready to disrupt every goddamn thing. I'm ready.
It's wild because like every time something like this happens, especially from where I'm like the folks from where I'm from will come out the woodwork and DM me, send me stuff to kind of give the opposite narrative, the opposite point of view. Because I'm like the token black guy that they feel that they can send shit to. Which sometimes I'm like, okay, cool. But other times it's like, I don't know why you're sending me this because it sounds like you're trying to convince me that what happened was right or that he shouldn't have had a warrant and all this stuff. And it's weird. And so like I had a person I went to college with send me this podcast of a person. I'm not even going to say the person's name because he doesn't even deserve white. of a Black man, and he's a conservative right-wing podcaster. And so she sent me an episode of him talking about this case because she wanted to have a conversation to see how I felt and things like that. And so I was listening to this, and it was like,
why is that even that person's thought? I'm sorry, that's your friend.
It's an acquaintance. The friend is a heavy word. It's a person that's still on my Facebook feed though. But
I'm gonna need you to get that delete spirit back. I know, right? You know, we celebrated that this past winter. I'm gonna need that spirit to come back on
because,
over you.
Because it was just interesting. And so I asked, I was like, what was your purpose of sending this? Because you're saying to me that you want to be an ally, that you want to learn tools and things and like that. Did you get tools from this podcast? And the answer was no, because like I already have some of the tools. Then I was like, then why are you listening to this then? Because there's nothing that I've heard in this entire episode that gave you a tool set to combat what's occurring to people that look like me. I don't care that he is a Black man. Clearly, from the tone of his podcast, and I looked up like who he's sponsored by. And
he's a Black man on this podcast?
Yes, it's crazy. But he's by iHeartRadio, so I'm like, oh, that's your job, is to do this shit. Like, is to rile people up and make it sound like this is what the Black person is saying today and things like that. Because he's like, I used to be a liberal. And so I can tell you the conversations they're having, they want revenge. That's what they want. And I'm like, this is not even conversations we're having, A. So to put that narrative out there, I was like, this is so fucking dangerous. And now you have a white person sending this shit to people of color, thinking that's what we believe, which is not the case. And A, the B is not the conversations we're having. We want just, literally every slogan we have is no justice, no peace.
Why do white people take credit for everything but racism? I just want to know that. Can we just have that conversation? You want to take credit for every damn thing except for racism. And you want to find any goddamn excuse. You want to find any Negro out there that's willing to toot the horn that you're tooting to make you feel good, except taking the responsibility for the fact that you on land that never belonged to you. You brought people over here that didn't belong to you. You're perpetuating a fucking stereotype, about what our lives are supposed to be like. The point of being an ally is you shut the
too. That was the other thing. I was like, oh.
The point of being an ally is you shut the fuck up and you listen. That's what you do. You ain't educating no Black person, no brown person, nobody. You ain't educating nobody. Your job right now is to shut the fuck up and listen.
Oh,
so if you can't do that,
I love AunTea Chardonnay. Look, we get AunTea Chardonnay right now. I'm here for it. Yeah.
If you can't do that, then there is nothing to talk about, because all you're fucking doing is gaslighting because you justifies, in your head, the things that you're thinking that's counter to what the people who are being impacted. And because this is the whole thing about privilege. Privilege is, I don't care about that because it doesn't affect me. That's privilege. It don't matter about what you cost or it doesn't matter how much you have. It doesn't matter what your economic background is. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. Privilege means I don't have to care because it doesn't affect me. So people who don't have to care because they don't affect me, and you don't have sympathy, and you're trying to send, details that support your reason not to care to a person, that's not allyship. So you can shut the fuck up and sit down.
And it was two parts that got me, that I was like, I feel like I'm being, I feel like they wanted a certain response, which
they were trying to get a reaction out.
It's like I'm smarter than that. So it's like, I know. Yeah. And so I was like, literally my first response back was like, this is hard to get through. Forgot I had a doctor's appointment today, so that's why I'm actually listening today, because she sent it last night, and I was like, it might be a while for me to get to it, girl, kind of thing. And the first response was this, which I cracked up, was, I'm guessing it makes you feel angry. And I said, no. I was like, it actually doesn't. I was like, it makes me feel sad for you and this person on this podcast. And then later in the conversation, this person, and she's probably gonna listen, because I was like, she's like, do you have podcasts for me to listen to? I was like, yeah, Minoritea Report. I'm like, well, you see me posting this shit all day, every day. But then she said, something that I want to get you all's reaction, because I was like, wow, this is so interesting to hear of what a lot of white people believe. And she says, oops, I said she, so my bad.
Oh yeah, we know.
I mean,
yeah.
that narrows it down to half.
All right, goes to be transparent. My fear is that POCs do not see how much they are being manipulated into keeping the change from happening. There are many truths in what he talks about, the podcaster, about that people are not aware of. And I was sitting there like,
I mean, there are hoteps that think the same thing though.
And I was like,
out there that preach that same shit.
And I was just sitting there like, wow. I was like, and my response was like, hey, Black people have been telling white people that y'all been manipulating shit forever. So we don't need to know that it's just been manipulated, because the people that are in the media and running shit are old white people. So we know what the fuck it is.
What color is Jesus?
Brown.
That was one of the biggest motherfucking lies that the white people then told us.
And then that's what I said
and
too.
made us give up our religions. You know, so like, who's the master manipulator?
And I was like, every textbook that's been written, how do I say it? Every textbook that's been written, every school we've been into, every media program out there has been run by white people. So it's sad for you to not realize that you have actually been manipulated by your own race. I was like, we've been known.
Oh, come on now. Come on with the read.
And so like this, she said some more stuff, and I just now seeing it. I'm like, okay, I ain't got time no more. But it's just always interesting when folks try to veil it in allyship or, oh, I want to hear your perspective, and try to give only solely their perspective. I was like, I could respect if this human being on this podcast and the person that sent this to me had both sides of the equation. From that, okay, I could at least hear that. But when you send me stuff that's literally everything that is spewing about racism that we're trying to tell you is fucking racist, it's like, I can't have this conversation anymore. You don't want to have this conversation. You're still trying to say, Kerrell, you're wrong to call this out as racist. And you're wrong, Kerrell, for calling this out as murder. And so now it's just like, you missed your opportunity to actually have an adult conversation now, because I'm done.
Because that's never what you wanted.
Exactly.
She wanted to argue.
Exactly.
And actually covertly pull your energy and your attention away from staying on the goal to really
by
focus
sending
on
me a black podcaster.
Right. Oh, and they do that all the time. Didn't Prince Harry pull out a black person to say, "Oh, we're not racist in our family"? They do this shit all the time.
Prince William.
Yeah,
William.
Harry's the one.
Harry's the one that.
Harry's the one that know. Harry knows what's up.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a pattern that y'all do all the time. You will try to find that one black dude. That's why I love the memes that say, when they say I got, when they say, I got black friends, and they show the black friend, and it's like, somebody who's got pressed hair and like, all
blue contacts,
out,
blue contacts, and all the rest of that stuff. Yeah.
Look, so that's I'm glad that you recognize that she's just trying to pull your energy, but like, y'all people out there, especially on the internet, there'll be things where I'll be like, on Instagram or like on Facebook or whatever, and I'll see like a thread about something, and I'll see somebody make some outlandish comment, and I want to like post something like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but then I'm like, you know what, then I'm giving them that energy. So it's like, you know what, bye, I'm protecting this, I'm staying focused.
And
I don't have those people on my timeline no more, but I have the friends that speak up, and then I come after their people and their comments. That be like, so I'm that friend that be like, oh, I'm coming for my friend today. I got my friends back today. Look, I like to back my friends that are allies up. I honestly, like, if they are really going to fight their family for my family and the people that look like me, like, the least I can do is be with them and be like, and my friend is damn motherfucking right. And what you not gonna do is mess with me and mine, and that include my right friend. That's your cousin, your baby mom. Look, we all in this. No, that's a no. Yeah.
So, and the sad thing is, like, out of all of this energy and things like that, someone still died, and that was literally like my second thing after I said this is hard to get through. I was like, I honestly don't care about the narrative. I don't care how the media spins shit. Don't care, because this is affecting my community. Like, people, I might not know this family, but I guarantee you, a lot of us have been through some shit dealing with cops or racism, et cetera, et cetera. But someone died, like point blank, period. Like, and that's where, like, I hope people just take a slight moment of pause and just like, damn, whatever I believe in, though, someone is dead. There's families and friends mourning right now.
I read the comments of the news stations back in Minnesota that are covering, like, Daunte Wright, like, you know, kind of like online, you know, articles or, you know, stories or videos, whatever the case is. Same thing with the George Floyd. And the comments are so fucked up. They do everything in their power to discredit this person and make excuses of why this person should have died. And they don't understand that you are making an excuse for why someone else can't continue to live, don't get the same experiences that you get to now. Like, they don't get to wake up and see, you know, March 16th the next day. You fucking do. Or get to have your fairy band of cereal, or get to walk, or and get to experience the change of seasons, or any of the other things that you take for granted.
Watching Beyonce,
that person can't do. Like, the person can't do no more.
Yeah.
They can't do no more. And you enjoy doing that. So why do you think it's okay to rob someone else of the things that you love to do on a daily basis?
It's wild. And even like Adam, and I know we need to wrap up here, but like even Adam Toledo in Chicago, the 13-year-old that was shot by a cop. There's another situation in Columbus, Ohio, Miles Jackson. There's just, it's a lot. And I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to, you know, like, I haven't burned anything down, but I don't know what else we can burn down, because it's just like, what?
Yeah.
How many times do we have to say this is horrible? How many times do we have to show you that this is horrible? How many times do we have to capture it on a camera phone to say this is horrible?
Mm-hmm.
We want to fucking live. How many times?
And I do want to clarify, when I said earlier, burn it all down, I meant all their shit down, not our shit. Just so y'all know. Because we ain't got much already, and they don't give us much anyway, because they obviously are trying to take us out, whether it's financially or physically. So
get that Christian Louboutin store, get all that shit.
Right. Someone said, like, oh, they want to loot our city, but they won't go to the Mall of America. I said, bitch, I know that's right. That's where you should be at, because I guarantee you that the state would be on some shit if they showed up to the Mall of America. Pull up.
Roller coaster and all.
I'm here for that energy. Pull up.
Apparently,
and be like,
last year we didn't
at
go,
the same time.
Apparently, with all the Black Lives Matter stuff, we didn't go far enough. So it looks like we're heading into this next summer with a whole nother
round two,
bitch.
Put the bomb back up, bitch. Get your Vaseline.
And we're gonna be you ain't gonna kick us out all these neighborhoods either. We can walk the damn fucking neighborhood. We can drive in our army fatigues to the gas station too. You ain't gonna pepper spray us all either. How about that? Like, there's a lot of shit.
And the reality of it is,
they were selling gas masks. They were giving away free gas masks too, to a lot of the leaders, the Black leaders in Minneapolis. I have a lot of people back home, so they were circulating that this one company was giving free gas masks to people. I'll see if they're still doing. I do some research on that. But again, armor up. Be ready.
Be ready. So, you know, community. It's a heavy topic. We hate ending shows like this way, but it's just like they keep killing us. They keep killing us, and we got to speak out. We need the allies to speak out, especially white allies. Speak out to your families, your friends, your community members. We need to speak up, speak out, change laws, get in positions of power, because this ain't it.
The spotlight is on Biden at this point, because he's in the office. So if ever there's an opportunity, you know, there's an opportunity right now to make some federal changes, you know, so that this shit doesn't continue. So,
and also too, I want, you know, if you love your aunties, just truly understand that it could be us. Guess what? Being gay don't save us. Having a podcast don't save us. The color of our skin is what is being targeted, and that they don't care. They don't care what other things come behind the skin. They see Black, it's a threat, and that is the truth.
So those that are Black that listen to this podcast, stay safe. I mean,
protect your mentals, protect your energy, do what you need to do to refill your cup, but be ready to fight. Be ready to, to not fight physically, but be ready to stand up. Right, that's you, because you never know. They may come out the side of the neck, but be ready to fight for the movement. Be ready to step up and be ready to come together, because there are strength in numbers at the end of the day. And don't rely on the next Black person that you know to carry the torch. We can pause and give you a quick water break. We can, tag in and out like it's WWE or whatever the case. But at the end of the day, we all got to work. We all got to fight.
That's true. That's true. So, community, stay safe out there. Wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass. And we'll see you next week.
Peace, y'all.